Hi Ingrid. So what we spoke about with the child is I need just on your letterhead. I need the request for the child's age, the gender, and what their wishes are, and we'll do what we can. 13-year-old girl needs an awesome classroom. This is perfect, actually. So we give these to a hospital that needs gifts today for a few of the birthday parties that they're having. Up in the foundation van when we're not taking items or picking up items to the hospital. What we do is we actually use this van. We put the seats in the back. It's kind of messy now. We put the seats in the back and we actually transport kids back and forth through treatments, so parents don't have to worry about parking or tolls or anything. So what we're doing today is we're going to take the van to obviously deliver some gifts to a local children's hospital. So I started the Children's Foundation, the John Theissen Children's Foundation, in 1992. I had a brain tumor myself at 17 years old, and I was hospitalized in a local children's hospital. It happened to be during the holiday times, during Christmas and Hanukkah, and being 17 at the time, it was my senior year of school. It was kind of tough for me to see a lot of kids sick, and I happened to be on the oncology floor with a lot of the kids that had cancer, and I met this one girl in particular. Her name was Tasha, who was 7 years old, and she had cancer. And it turned out that I was in there for about a week, but it turns out that Tasha had very little support. She would be in and out of the hospital for years getting treatment, and nobody would ever visit her. Well, she took to my family and befriended my family and was just in my room every day. And I couldn't imagine, like, this 7-year-old girl who was left in the hospital by herself. And I had surgery, and the day I had surgery, she was constantly asking me, asking my mom, how's John doing, etc. And there was a holiday party where all these kids were going to be able to go downstairs and see Santa Claus and get a gift, and all these kids be regular kids. Well, she got all dressed up the morning of the party, and she walked in with a dress that the doctors had gotten her, and her family was supposed to show up, and unfortunately they never did. So she came in about an hour before the party, and at this point I could hear the families going down to the party, and she was crying, and my mom said, Tasha, what's the matter? And she says, nobody's going to come and take me down to the party. So my mom said, Tasha, don't worry, I'll take you down. John can't go. He's not allowed to get out of bed. And then she was really upset that I couldn't get out of bed. I mean, I was 17 years old. I didn't want to go to a children's party. But so my mom took her down, and she just kept asking about me. She was so concerned about me, and when it was her time to get a gift, it was Santa Claus went to hand her this big teddy bear, and she said, I don't want this for me, I want it for my friend upstairs to make him feel better. And this is what I was told, and I walked out of there a few days later, and I said, that's what I want to be back here to help out kids like this during the holiday time. And a few years later, after a bunch of surgeries and radiation, I started the foundation in 1992 during the holiday time. So in 1992, when I started the foundation, it just started as a simple holiday toy drive. It started as a toy drive where I wrote up a sheet of paper. I actually have the sheet of paper around here somewhere, asking people for support, asking people for a new unwrapped gift during the holiday times, during December time. And I briefly went into my situation and Tasha's story, and back then I had to use a typewriter to actually type up the letter, and then what I would do is, if this was the letter, I would take the letter, and to promote the toy drive, because back then there wasn't any social media or anything, I would actually walk from house to house putting this in people's mailboxes. And I remember the first year in 92, during the month of December, we collected at my parents' house on my mom's front lawn, we collected 800 new toys, and I thought that was incredible. And I was using oak tag on the poles, like a real grassroots thing. And for a few years after that, it was just a holiday toy drive. And then I realized that the need is so much greater, that it's not just toys, that these children, some of these families are losing their homes because their kids get sick, and some kids are going around without coats, and all different situations. And I wanted to get the foundation bigger, and I was going to classes at the Nonprofit Management Center in New York City, meanwhile maintaining a full-time job, and I knew one day I'd be able to do it full-time. But early on, from like 92 to 95, it was really just took place at my parents' front lawn, and during the holiday drive, and it just started to get bigger. It really started to take off, I'd say, around 96, 97, when I finally got my tax exempt status, and and things started going, getting put in the right direction, and raising funds. And I think, the first year I officially had the foundation, we raised like $13,000, and it just took off, and it was all self-learned. I mean, I didn't go to school for this. I just learned everything as I went, and it was just I'm just committed to it since day one. In the back of it, not even the whole house, in the back of that was my first office that was donated. And then about a mile up, I'm going to show you the house where I started the toy drive in December during the holidays in '92. I'll show you the house that when I was going through the brain surgery. So over the years since 1992, the foundation started, we've expanded our programs. Some years back, I say now, but about 22 years ago, I started a back to school program. The back to school program works with social workers from different school districts and families, and what we do is we provide children who are financially, who are, say, underprivileged. I mean, really, really underprivileged, living in shelters, living in motels, living in all different kinds of places, really, really sad situations. We provide them with new school supplies, we provide them with new backpacks, and not only that, we give them $150 gift cards to, like, say, Old Navy, to go back to school with new clothes and supplies. So they feel better about themselves. And studies have shown that, like, children, like when I first started doing the back to school program, for say, kids would pick up the backpacks and they wouldn't have anything. I mean, I would see that overgrowing their shoes and stuff, so I started giving them gift cards and everything, and they were confident more about their studies. Some of these kids would actually stay out of school the first week because they were too embarrassed to go back to school. We opened up right here in Wantor. 2005, we opened up the Family Fun Center, which is a 6-room center, and we have our first room. We have high-def televisions, 14 of them mounted with Xboxes and PlayStations. We have a candy aisle. We have an arcade game section downstairs and upstairs. We have an arts and crafts room downstairs, and we have a wish room downstairs. And we actually give kids who have cancer or kids who can't afford birthday parties, we give them free parties, from pizza, cake, everything for free. We have parties every weekend. During COVID, obviously, we haven't been able to do anything. We have a pony therapy program, which actually children with autism have been coming, and it's just incredible. We actually have a Welsh pony. He's 18 years old now. His name is Surf, and kids come and visit the pony. They do therapy with him, and they ride him, and it's really taken on an incredible process of helping these kids. We do wish giving. One of the programs we have is a Miles and Smiles transportation program, where we actually provide transportation for patients, so their parents don't have to worry about parking and stuff to and from treatments. I really just try and cover it all. And I've expanded so much that my goal is, if I could think of a way to help a sick or underprivileged child, a new way, and I'll implement that program and get it started. That's what's so amazing about having the ability to just do whatever you could if you're driven enough. Yeah, so running my foundation under my name, the John Theissen Children's Foundation, is kind of, it's a difficult task. I mean, obviously it's governed by a board. I have a great board of directors. I have an advisory board, but knowing that my name is attached to it, I have to behave myself around town. I mean, I'm just a regular guy who does what he does, but it's been quite a venture. I mean, I started off, for the first 4 years, I was Toys for Sick Children, and then when I amended that name change, I said, okay, I have to, everyone knows me by John Theissen, so I figured you can't go wrong with the John Theissen Children's Foundation. So that's what we did. But knowing, when I met that girl Tasha in the hospital back in '88, and I really, she's the inspiration for me really starting the foundation. If I would have known it would have turned into this year-round organization 30 years later, probably would have been named after Tasha. But it's John Theissen Children's Foundation, and it's JTCF, and it's exciting, and it's kind of weird to walk around or drive with with the van with my name on it, or have like a hat or a shirt with my name on it. But I'm proud of it. I mean, I built it up, and it's something that's hopefully has more and more years ahead of us. But COVID had obviously, like it did with all businesses, it had a really hard impact on us. I mean, because we had to stop all fundraising events. I mean, I would say 70% of our budget is made up of fundraising events. We usually do like 10 major ones. So that I knew was going to be a really, really difficult place, and keeping this fun center open. But I was able to secure some SBA grants, some government loans, and we also had a nice mail-in campaign go out, and I had to become creative. I did some virtual raffles, and we had some support from different venues holding small fundraisers for us. But we still haven't been able to hold. We've been able to hold our golf outing, but 95% of our events have been canceled, and for the foreseeable future, I don't even see when we can actually run an event like we usually do. I mean, our gala that usually takes place in December, we usually have 1,000 people out there come to it. I mean, that's our biggest event, and that usually nets around $250,000. And this year, we're probably hoping to get 300 people there. So COVID obviously, and then COVID doesn't care about the regular people, but it certainly doesn't care about the kids that are sick, and it doesn't care about the families who are always facing the burden of paying their bills when their kids are sick, or the children who are living in the local motels because their parents are homeless and they're homeless, and that just puts a greater increase on the stress of running the foundation and of running our daily jobs that we do here at the foundation. So COVID has really taken a great toll on the foundation and the community itself, and hopefully we'll be back to normal soon. This is 2021 is going into our 30th season. This upcoming holiday season, Christmas and Hanukkah, will be our 30th season of giving, and 30 years of running the foundation. Where I see this foundation in the future is hopefully expanding our programs, being able to help the kids like we used to, the Family Fun Center, maybe hopefully one day opening our own center where we actually own the property and can do things on our terms. I really have learned, because ever since I got sick back in '88, and I still take 10 meds a day, and I've had over 17 surgeries, I've learned to take day by day. I do I do plan, but I dream small. I take small steps, and because I think if you think about taking the big steps and you go take the big steps, which a lot of people in business do, they miss out on the smaller steps, and they miss out on and they can't appreciate just how hard it is to really grow. And sometimes that gets away from them, and they end up losing everything. So I take small steps. I take day by day, and I just hope in 5 years we're in the same position as we were prior to COVID, only stronger. And my most important thing is, in 30 plus years, we've never said no to a child in need or anyone who's asks, whether it's with a gift, whether it's a financial donation, whether any kind of assistance we can do. And I just hope that as long as the John Theissen Children's Foundation is going, that it's the same thing. We never say no to a child, no matter what. So hopefully in 10, 15, 20 years, the foundation is still going as strong as it is prior to COVID, and I anticipate that, because this is my life. It's been my life from day one. Besides my family, it's the most important thing in my life.